All right, everybody, sorry about that. A little bit straight air. All right, I want to get started here. It's going to be really hardcore. I want to start with I just found out I am online most of the day, half of the night, that Mr. Snowden supposedly released documents saying the German government was working with the tall whites controlling the United States. I just found it online. Whether I believe it or not, that's a different story. But again, that's for you to check out, see if you believe it or not. I didn't hear it when he said it. I mean, I watched everything that he put out that we got, but somebody always swipes information from somewhere. All right, check it out. Mr. Snowden. I don't know how many years ago it was. It was a couple of years ago, though. It wasn't recent. So for me, I want to talk about the main problem in the whole UFO world right now is based on a few people. Now, I don't know if you follow the UFO world or the people that are involved with it, the speakers, the conferences. It's making lots of money for people, especially the speakers. All right. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Let me get this up a little higher. Can't get my camera. I've been having so many problems with different things lately. Okay, there it is. All right. So the few people I'm going to mention, directly and not, are the people that are causing a serious problem in the rip of what we believe in the UFO world, the people that are involved that are accepting the things that are coming through. Now, I'll tell you this. There's very little truth coming out in the UFO world. What's making it even worse, I already talked about it, is what's happening in the science world and what they're saying, what they're telling us. And, it's been a long time since they came out with things. I mean, they always said the Big Bang Theory, black hole, and things like that. But then when they mention we came from another universe where we're all aliens, which I believe we all are. So when they say, oh, we just discovered ancient alien DNA in a cell and all that kind of stuff, just on the History Channel on Ancient Aliens just a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, they believe that aliens, now this is what they're going to say, that aliens are pollinating the planet with this energy cell, whatever you want to call it, and creating races here. Well, if it's been going on for billions of years, which it has been, yeah, there was multiple races here. Whether they were created by what they say or think, I will tell you what I know. And this is fact based on my reality. You don't have to accept it. But the truth is out there if you really want to search for it. The human race wasn't born on this planet, people. So that makes us all aliens, doesn't it? But no, you want to believe Adam and Eve, which is a fake story. You want to believe the Pope. He said it was a fake story as well. So what do you want to believe? The Anunnaki story? Because of Zecharia Sitchin, what he created with the ideas that he translated? When you need to follow the facts, the proof, the evidence, and what's happening. All right. Now, the worst scenario is based on one person. His name's Stephen Greer. I don't care what he says. I'll debate him anywhere, anytime, anyway, live, offline, but he doesn't have the balls to do it. All right, here's the reason. He came out in, I guess it was really coming out, he was in around 96, because Sergeant 18 and I were lecturing for Global Sciences, which was all along and all around the United States. I didn't see him lecturing at our conferences. All right. Many people from all over the world came to these conferences, and one person was killed on a yearly basis coming to one of the conferences. But here it was ended because the person that was creating it and doing it died, and then it kind of ended. But we were doing it from 1996 to 2002. All right. But here, people, Stephen Greer is supposedly the head name in the whole UFO disclosure. All right. What did he prove? What's he proving? What's he saying? Well, we're going to get into that in detail. But he's not the only one. There's other people that are pretty out there, meaning taking us away from the truth. I lost my friend Sergeant 18. I don't know which direction he went, whether he sold out to the government, he got really sick, he was dying a couple of years ago, and he said he was and stuff that we shot, which was thousands of pictures of ships and everything else. But I did a show in Cassidy for 9 months, and then they wanted money, so I canceled it. And then all of a sudden we had this big fight over it. I have no clue. But in the interim, these people that get bought out, and why I'm saying that, he said if he was ever offered a lot of money, he would take it. And maybe they did, because he did end up with a lot of money right before the show ended. He bought a new house and cars and moved, the whole thing. But after that, we ended our relationship. And he threatened me with lawyers and stuff, don't call him and blah, blah, blah. I just started. Greetings. All right. So, yeah, well, when we had our dispute, I was friends with Sean David Martin, and his story is incredible as well. I'm not going to get into it now. But these people that will be offered money. Now, when David Wilcock said they were trying to kill him, he was crying, oh, they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me. I mean, these people come out with these great stories. Now, one of the oldest stories in the United States and other countries is Bill Myers. He claimed he worked with the Pleiadians, and he had videos of them and all kinds of stuff. The videos are pretty lame. I mean, the ship's over his house going around in circles. I mean, they got nothing to do except go around in circles. You come from another world, another universe, and you're going to come here, go over a person's house, go around in circles, take pictures of me going around in circles. He never released a real photograph of an alien. He put a picture up, which was a girl from Mickey Mouse Club. So, again, whatever truth he had, he loses it because he puts all these lies on top of it. All right, I've been here since I started my UFO world, basically speaking, lecturing in 96. But I was involved in the UFO world a long time ago, before 99% of the people in the UFO world were. By myself, I wasn't involved with groups and everything else. Now you just hear the new word SETI. Well, I was friends with there was two SETIs, one ran by the government and one ran by private people. I went into that a little bit last time. They were both killed. I was friends with them. They told me, the government, not the government. Somebody came into their office and said, look, you're not going to live. And they injected both of them. She went out to the reservation for 2 weeks, came back, said she's deathly sick, and died a week later. The vice president died by the end of the month. So she didn't lie to me, said they were going to die and there was nothing they could do about it. But that was the original SETI. And I mean, I know the movie with Jodie Foster came out and all that. The story gets molded into whatever people kind of want. And people that do the movies kind of gear to that. Anger, hate, fear, whatever the words that people are into, they put it into the movie. When Rosemary's Baby came out, it was the most scary movie. When The Exorcist came out, it was a scary movie. But nobody wanted to believe in that stuff. And right now, there's about 20 shows on every week about ghosts, spirits, and demons. Check it out. And it's not all fake, people. I did it. I was involved with it when I was 16. I was doing ghost busting. I was freeing spirits and doing all that kind of stuff. It's always been real in my life. It's not like all my experiences also proved it, which I'm not going to go into again right now. I'm going to go into the problems we have. Now, I gave the last show I did, not with Tina, but I gave a list of all these people making the whole UFO thing a great thing happening, as far as, basically what aliens are going to do for us and what's happening and what's really going on here. Well, they're all twisted lies. And when I do the show, which I'm doing tomorrow with Tina, hopefully she's okay. She's been abducted many times, more than most people, have more proof than most people. She's probably one of the top speakers in England right now. All right. But the interim is what's going on here in the United States. What's going on right now? I went out this morning, two ships within 15 minutes. And I saw this other ship blinking on and out, on and off. But it's out there, it's happening in great numbers everywhere on the planet. So why would hundreds of thousands of, could be millions of ships around the planet every day, every night? What are they doing, people? Some, I don't know whether in a different dimension and they really aren't monitoring this dimension, but the ones that are, I mean, I can film a ship, get ready to film a ship, and it disappears the second I get the camera on it. And that happens more so than not. I'm not going into that. If you want information about how to see UFO, I got I'll send it to you for free. I wrote it a couple of years, 2 years ago already. But it's basically, if you want to see a UFO, how simple it is. And they're real, people. It's not just a satellite. It's not a plane. All those things. It's not gas. It's not balloons. It's not all the things they try to push on people. I've been there. I've done it. I stopped it. My brother was almost abducted, and I stopped it from happening. I actually had an alien in my house, and my friend and me chased it, and the ship took off. I mean, I could go into those kind of stories, but it's not going to help us right now because we have a person named Stephen Greer, people. Read everything he's saying. Read what he's putting out there, and read what he's doing. All right. Alien is a word that we use. We're all aliens for a word. We're all interdimensional, intergalactical, whatever words you want to use. But in the interim, we're different races. We're not the same race. We're not all the same, and things like that. Our black race, red race, yellow race aren't the same as the blue race or the green race. The same as we're not the same as a mantis or a gray or any of those kind of aliens as well. A tall white. I don't know if you don't know what a tall white looks like even. But people have this thing that the Nordics, they think they're Jesus. They have white robes, blue eyes, and oh, he must be Jesus. They can appear, some of them can change. We could do it on this planet. They could do it as well. Change what they look like. Change it to what you want them to be looking like. But I'm not going to get into that either because that's not really important. What's important is, well, the government cannot stop people from getting abducted. But guess what? They went to a person. Did I write his name down? Hold on, let me just see. I lost it. I didn't write it on this paper. Oh yeah, Gary Nolan, scientist doing research on DNA and cancer, and they came in there with 100 pictures of people that have said they were abducted, and he was allowed to get in touch with them and work with them and try to figure out whether they're real or not, which is really hard to prove. But to work it out, he determined 80% have some kind of interference syndrome. All right. And then the other 20% are abductees. Even if you got one abductee, it's real, people. When you got 20% of a number, which is incredibly high, and nobody knows what the number is, not even the government, what do? How do you prove it? How do you disprove it? You don't. All right. Now, getting back to this whole thing. Stephen Greer gets these groups and go to Congress and go and tries to get people to listen and all that. To what? Now, he's saying, and this is his words, not mine, aliens are good. Oh, really? And this is what he's saying, and I heard him say it now maybe once every couple of weeks on one of his lectures, talks, whatever he's doing. All right, and I'm not going to make this stuff up what he says. Because he says, first he says aliens are good. But here's the thing, people. What he says, he was offered $2 billion to walk away from the UFO world. And he said no, obviously. Really? A person with a brain, with awareness and stuff, somebody offers you $2 billion. Would you walk away from it for any reason? If they were saying kill God, that would be one thing. But outside of that, why would you walk away from $2 billion? Because you know what the word is? Ego. Wait, I'm going to put these together. But he wasn't offered $2 billion. The government wouldn't spend $2 billion to take one person out. Get real, people. I have 16 friends that went from 15 to 16 over the past 6 months, but that were taken out, disappeared. I'm not going to go into all the details. Good friends, UFO people, all right, and a family as well. A friend that I grew up with since I was 12, his whole family just disappeared 2 days after I showed him all the UFO pictures. He worked for NASA. All right, this is real, people. But the truth that's coming out is not. Stephen Greer is building a whole UFO center. Where do you get these millions of dollars from? All right. So he's going to create workshops to teach people how to talk to aliens. I'm not making this up, people. Pull up his site, pull up his show. He's even on Gaia. Basically, every spiritual person out there that's claimed to be spiritual. Deepak Chopra, Katoli, I mean, people like that. And all these great speakers. And I'll get into Deepak Chopra in a second. But, okay, he's saying all these things. All right. When he says aliens are good and we need to talk to them, what he's saying, and I just heard him say it today. I pulled up one of his videos. We need to talk to aliens and we don't need our government. Why is he saying that? How could he get away with that? I don't understand that part of it, people. Anybody out there that does, let me know. How could somebody that's saying something that ridiculous and crazy and getting people to believe it? What's that mean? People really want to deal with aliens rather than the government? It might sound like a good idea. Well, our government's corrupt. Well, guess what, people? There is no such thing as a good alien. You can believe what you want. You can believe what they tell you, what you're programmed, or what they program you with. But they're not here to help us as people. Look at what they've done in 50,000 years. Look what they did in 100,000 years. Look what happened to all the races that were here and are not. Think about it. And if they're so good, they're waiting to now to do it. I mean, they let a country kill people every day and they're not helping right now. You know what I say? If one child's stuck in a sewer, they'll get 10 fire trucks and cop cars there to get that child out. Comes to another country or another city or something, they'll send 2 cops there. I mean, or they'll bomb a city. And they don't care how many people get stuck, die, or whatever. You know, people have a judgment on people. And the people that are getting killed, people, are not the innocent. I mean, they're the innocent people. Not the ones that are firing the weapons, killing people, destroying cities, destroying our weather, destroying everything else under the sun. Who are they? What are they doing it for? Well, let's take Snowden. He said that Germany has programmed the tall whites to control the United States. Well, now you have to think where we're going with that. The New World Order. Okay, that's called UN Agenda 21-30. The year 30 is 2030 is when it's all going to come to an end, if not before. But in the interim, we're already at stage 4 in that, people. And you don't have to believe it. Just watch what happens. The big news today, they want people to send in names for the monkey virus, and they're going to change the name of it. Like, that's really important right now? Well, guess what? There's research on the monkey virus that goes back years, and they don't want... I'm not going to say too much. I'll lose my show completely. But check it out. Check why they would do that. Why would you change the name of a virus? Oh, I don't like that name. Let's change it. How about let's change a word from killing to love or hate or drugs to good food or whatever. Make it sound good. Now, I deal with all these UFO people, but they won't deal with me. They are afraid to. They deal with their bull, and that's all they care about. They're making money on that, convincing people that a Tic Tac's so important. It's not. It's not even a live ship. Hawaii had 2 motherships over it in the past 3 months. Anybody talking about it? I have my own witnesses, everything else. But do people care? Oh, no, it was just clouds. They'll justify it with something else. My friend said he was able to see in all the windows on the ship. It was so low to the block that it blocked out. But they weren't all lined up. They were like all scattered on this big ship. But he said it covered the whole block completely. I'm talking a big, long block as well. And who knows how long it took to come in and go out. But there's things happening in Hawaii. Hawaii is the first center of defense for the United States, people. Think about that. I mean, Fukushima was something really bad. But we'll never go to that place. But Hawaii has its underground bases and what they're doing and all that. I support them. They're protecting who they're supposed to, the rich people. They're not protecting the poor people. Now, the underground cities are there for a reason. You know, wherever there's an alien base, there's an army base. Or wherever there's an army base, there's an alien base. And there's multiple reasons for that, people. I went out to John Edmonds' ranch, and he told me it was right next to an alien base. I didn't see anything, so I said, well, then I saw these ships going up and down. I said, and then he took me there the next day, and there was nothing there. It wasn't like it was a airport base or anything like it, but ships were going in and out like every 5 minutes. So, and this was, I'm not going to say any more about that, but it's all real. Now, the Skinwalker Ranch, they're getting close to the truth. Let's see what happens. They ended the season with some hardcore stuff. Let's see what they're able to bring out next year or next season. I'm telling you, I'm sure they're going to have a ship under that ground. Whether they are allowed to show it and bring it out is a different story. What's creating what's going on there is a reason. They're over a vortex. Why? All those little questions that they're proving are real. All the money they spent this year is incredible. Luckily, the person on board is a multimillionaire, and he's spending all this money to prove it. You know, for a millionaire to spend money to prove something ridiculous, in most cases, it doesn't happen. All right, Stephen Greer, where did he get his money, and why did he turn down $2 billion? He could have had 100 people working for him and get 10 times more done than him taking his little self as an ego person, saying, I'm the one that's going to create disclosure. No, he's not. Nobody on this planet is going to create disclosure, people. Disclosure means one person coming out with an alien. And that's not going to happen. Aliens are going to come out by themselves. They don't need a person to take them and introduce them to the world. I mean, I keep saying watch the movie V, and they had their person come down, meet this person, come up on a ship and talk and communicate before they got into the whole thing. But it's not going to be who we say, oh, he's the president, you got to talk to him. Really? Oh, Trump's the main man now. Oh, you got to talk to him? Putin himself, and I'm not lying about this. All right, Putin said 3 months before Trump was elected, I want you to come out and tell the world what really happened at 9/11. It was in Russian. My friend was translating it. And then he said, I want you to tell the world what you're doing with UFOs and aliens. He said, we're working with 27 races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. What's that mean? That means there's a war of aliens going on. Can you understand that? Nobody wants to talk about it. I have a few witnesses that actually heard the show. Like I said, if you didn't have a translator, you probably didn't understand it because it was in Russian. But here, people, we don't have much time to get our act together. What act is that? Learning why you're here, the true reason why you're here, where you're going to go when you die, and what's going to happen to the planet, really. You know, the Space Force is another joke, all right? We have technology to kill the reptilians and the Greys, all right? But I wouldn't say they have the knowledge to take out the Mantis or the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians are pretty advanced, and they're intelligent, human intelligent, I mean. And they warned, they told Billy Myers, your friends do one more ship on us, and we'll attack the United States and the rest of the planet. All right. The Arcturians are a race. I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm very close to that. Yeah, the Pleiadians are advanced, but they even have different ships. Billy Myers has these stupid satellite ships. They're not flying around in them anymore, even though one went over California, not about 6-7 months ago. But they're not flying around in those old ships. They're one of the ships that the government shot down. I mean, I don't want to get into all that because it doesn't matter whether you believe that or not. What matters is people are getting abducted in large numbers. The government can't stop it. All right. That should be where your attention is. Because what's happening is when you get abducted, there's two things that happen. They do what they want with you, and then they program you with what they want to happen. The Anunnaki is a fake story. They're not what they say they are. They're not what people say they are. Zecharia Sitchin was creating a story, and he won, and he got many people to believe him. But he's lying about a lot of things. Now, Atlantis was the only time the human races were at peace, harmony, and in the Garden of Eden. And it was destroyed by two races. Yes, he was a great liar. Great storyteller. Most people are storytellers. They believe half of the bull they say. Oh yeah, I was with an alien and he told me, he took me to Mars, Venus, Jupiter. We had dinner. And I mean, they'll say whatever they want. How much of it is true? All right. I'm not going to go into the today, even though I usually do, because Tina's doesn't like to talk about that because she's been abducted way too many times to say, well, God's protecting her. So she's not really in that mode to talk about it. I've been involved with it all my life. I mean, I had 5 death experiences. I spent 25 years leaving my body, going back into all my past lives and all that. So yeah, you want the truth, I can give it to you. Whether you want to hear it or not, it's a different story. My partner's a Buddhist Lama, and I have to listen to her teachings. Buddha didn't believe in God. Buddha believed in the bliss state and the oneness, and that this is all an illusion. Well, what a sick illusion. What a sick dream. If this is your dream, change it. All right. Put names of these people you know. I'm open. Somebody can come on. I hope I mean, like I said, I'd like to talk to a person before I bring them on my show because I won't bring anybody that I know is lying. Period. This chair has to go. I can't even afford a new chair, but a couple $100. This one was a couple $100. I didn't even know it. But people, time's changing. I put the link up, a picture of a show we did, Strange Universe, 1996. Sargel and we did a show called Strange Universe. They blocked me out. They blocked me off the whole show. They put him on. It was more about him anyway, but still, they wouldn't put anything I said up online, on TV. So, the truth started a long time ago, but it gets muffled, changed, and twisted into what people feel they need. Billy Myers is a joke. Aliens come in here to fly around his house and all the things. But here's one thing he did. All right. He put out a sheet of paper, sent it to every government on the planet in 1950, of all the changes and things that are going to happen. He put out 100 prophecies. About 90 of them came true so far. Seriously. All right. When we were going to discover planets, what's going to happen this way, that way. He was right on about all that. I'm not going to go into the Akashic records and psychics and all those words because it's all a lot of living in the physical reality, which is moldable, but it can't be molded in a good way because nobody's at that level to do it. There's nobody spiritual on this planet, people, and I'm saying that about myself even. I've been on a spiritual quest my whole life, and when I become spiritual, I leave. And that's going to be soon. But I won't come back. I'm not going to stay or go to the astral plane. There's no reason to go there or stay there. There's no reason to try to look up families. You had hundreds of lifetimes. Which family you want to look up? The newest one? What if you're married 3 times in this lifetime? Which one you want to look up? Well, I want the one that, what? You're not going to be worrying about sex or that. Well, I want the one that I had the best sex with. Or, oh, yeah, we got along pretty good. What are you going to talk about in space? Or in another dimension? Oh, the weather's fine today. Let's go swimming. Where? What? How? What are you going to wear? What kind of clothes do you think you're going to wear? How old are you? I'll tell you many things. You pick your age when you go to the astral plane. You don't have to eat. You don't have to do a lot of things if you don't want to. But it's different. If you leave this world to go there and you get to stay there, which doesn't happen too often, you might like it. It's better than here. Anything can be better than hell. And when you don't realize that this is hell, you're not looking at the facts. When Dante he wrote out, I guess it was the Inferno, when he said how people go through these stages of hell. Every stage he mentioned is the physical reality. Burning, freezing, and all those words. It happens in the physical. Soul can't be frozen. Soul can't be burned. All those things. It's physical body that's going through it, not even soul. So these people talk about things. They have one small vision, a dream. I had 5 death experiences, and I spent 45 years traveling out of my body. I spent half of my life going over my past lives and getting to the point where I know 99% of them. And I could say a couple things. I don't want to make it sound like I'm coming from ego. I'm just coming from my awareness of what I spent my whole life on. I was little doing ghost busting. I started hypnosis, hypnotizing people when I was 14. I was doing past life regression when I was 20. Doing ghost busting when I was 16, 17. So, and I didn't have books to read. I never read books. I wasn't a reader. All mine came from awareness. I was in the hospital with my brother, and the ship came up the window and was going to abduct him. I was only 6 years old. I didn't know what I was doing. Jumped out of the crib, ran over to the window, right into the light, and put my hands on the window. The ship shot straight out into space and was gone. But my brother was in the back of the crib screaming. But that's how it started. I mean, I didn't walk into this world because I wanted to. I didn't want to be in the UFO world. I wanted a family. I wanted kids. I wanted a normal life, which I never got. So I'm not here to tell stories for no reason. And I'm not here about protection for myself. And I'm not here to give you protection because you don't have it. And the physical body has no protection, people. Jesus, God, Buddha, Gandhi, all those names. Gandhi had so many people killed. Your body's not protected. And until people understand that, religion's going to be getting worse and worse, which it is. The Pope's really changing Christianity completely. I mean, the Catholic religion to bad things. He said hell doesn't exist. Well, why doesn't it exist? Because you're already in it. You're supposed to get out of it, not like you're going to go into it. You're in it. This is as bad as it gets, people. Soul can experience pain. And when they talk about the psychic abilities and all that, it's not going to help mankind. Mankind doesn't have the ability to use psychic abilities in any good way. I'm going to go into a couple names. I need to. Caroline Corey. She put 2 movies out in the past year and a half. Watch them. And she gets into the idea that drones and clones and all these things are good, and people having alien babies is good and all that. Really? I wonder why. She claims she can levitate, so she can levitate a piece of paper. I said, you can levitate a piece of paper, you can levitate a car. But on the other end of it, she says she can change people's DNA. She did the science thing and went over it with her hands. I'll tell you this. I studied with a medicine woman. She worked with a scientist. I studied with her 26 years. And there's a technique we do when we do our prayers over food we eat, okay? But she had it proven by scientists that just doing this, breathing your energy and intent into the energy over the food, it purifies it, changes the energy of it. She worked with scientists, proven this many, 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 many years ago. She died Christmas. She was quite old. But again, energies of the physical reality. Energy is not soul. Going like this isn't going to make a spirit disappear. All right? They do what they want because they're stuck here. And they're under nobody's control. Satan can't do anything with them. They're lost souls. All right? We are the people Satan tries to keep here. It likes playing games with us, and that's why we're here. And we're not leaving. We reincarnate more than we leave this lower realm. So I'm not going to get into that too much because I'm trying to stick with the problem that we have, and that's where we're going right now. These UFO conferences use the word experiencer. Well, tune into my show tomorrow. She's an abductee, people, not an experiencer. She knows a lot of this stuff, but she's also going to have a hypnotic thing done live so people could see it and hear it. She doesn't know everything. Travis Walton doesn't know half of the stuff that happened to him on his ship as well. He did his movie many years ago. Half of it he knew was lies, and then now he wants to do a new movie, and he's thinking you don't learn more things. You become aware of what happened. That's it. You have a good hypnotist, they will help you become aware of what really went down. Not programming you, feeding you, and giving you false information to work with. But the other thing is hypnosis isn't the cure-all for anything. I'm not going into that, but I'll just say this real fast. When you hypnotize somebody, you hypnotize everything around them. The entities, the angels, whatever's around them that's hypnotized as well. Working through that body. All right? And they all want to talk. Every spirit would want to come up and say, what do you think all these ghost shows now, the spirits are saying things and talking and giving them signs that they are pushing people down, knocking them over and all kinds of things, but it's not all fake, people. I mean, oh, that's all fake. No, it's not. Out of everything you hear, see, or do, there's always truth in some of it. Not all of it. No, I can't. There's no trusted hypnotist I know right now. I know people. I was working with two of them. I was going to do a UFO conference with one of them, and they were going to do a whole week of tantra sex and stuff after the UFO conference, and I said, no way. Bob Dean, if you know who he was, he even gave us money to do it right before he died. But again, I said, no, I'm not going to allow it to happen. They were talking about another conference I went to. They were talking about bringing the green people out, and I said, no, you don't want to do things like that either. Yeah, Bob Dean was the coolest person in UFO world that I know, all right, that I did know. But outside of that, getting back to the people that are here now, all the people from Ancient Aliens. Well, I think this and I think that, and I went around the world. So what? You saw junk that was left here. When you move, do you leave all your good stuff where you move from? Of course not. You leave the junk there. Pyramids are useless, people. They didn't help the people when they were alive. They're not going to help people and the aliens and the giants now. We killed all the giants, in case you didn't know that either. And the book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible. They didn't want people to know that either. But, I mean, there's one story about the giant, David and Goliath. But again, the stories are twisted and molded into what they want people to see, hear, and feel. Right. I'm glad you're on. I appreciate it, and you're so right. Some people can. Most people can't. Most people hear a story. Wow, that's incredible. Oh, I believe it. The more incredible it is, the more people believe it. Come out and say an alien punched my eye out. Oh, that's ridiculous. There's no aliens here. I mean, right away. But he took me up into space, took me to all these beautiful cities and fed me dinner. And I said, what'd you eat? How many people? You know, any alien person that's been abducted, ask them what they ever ate with an alien. I found out one thing that a certain race wants, and that's the tall whites. They like strawberries from this planet. But something you need to know, people, the tall whites can't come near a human without killing them. That's a fact, people. So when people say, I'm working with the tall whites, I'm working with this, I'm working with the Anunnaki, really? And what's happening? What do you learn? Stephen Greer goes, let's talk to these aliens. Yeah, chocolate and coffee, right. Stephen Greer goes on about talking to aliens. We need to talk to them, and we can eliminate our government and let aliens control it. I guess he needs to read what Snowden put up about Germany controlling the tall whites and making them control the United States. But you see, Stephen Greer has no truth. I'm not sorry to say it. I'll go to court against that because prove it. Show me aliens. Show me your alien friends. Have them tell us something important. Let them show us what they did for mankind. They never did. Or that many people wouldn't have been dying. Now, the native people, I danced all over the United States. I was with almost every native elder and all that stuff. They claim they work with the star beings. Star beings because they didn't even know what race it was. Yes, we are cattle. But here's the thing. They work with the star beings. Why didn't they help them? There was 50 million native people here 400 years ago. 99% of them are dead. All right. There's only 750,000 left right now that are full-blood Native people. The Star people help them. Now they're saying Bigfoot help them. No, Bigfoot didn't help nobody. I have a good friend. I was friends with him for years. But he started going into, well, they're here to heal us and help us. Help us what? Take the right medicine to kill us? Take the right drug? What? Help us? How are they going to help us, people? Think about it. Well, I want to go on their ships. Oh, talk to 2 out of 10 people will say, oh, I'd like to take a trip on a ship. I'd go if they came down for me. Really? Where would you go? What would you eat? And what do you think you're going to do? What benefit do you think you could offer an alien? You know, I'll tell you the races that were here in the beginning. The green race, the blue race, the purple race, the, I can't even think of the right word, the crystal race. All right, they all left. But one of each race became a spiritual being. I mean, they had to be spiritual not to come back and go where they went. They went to the next realm or the realm beyond that. But the realms that people stay in, that soul stays in, between the astral plane and here, there's multiple realms in there, people. When they talk about the Big Bang and all these dimensional realms, it's still the physical reality. I'm calling it physical because it's the first level of awareness of life, of soul, how it takes form and what it grows into and what it becomes. It's kindergarten, and that's all it is. And when scientists say, well, we can change DNA and make a bat or change a horse into a butterfly, well, they're working on that right now. They just legalized cloning animals and aliens. No, animals and humans, sorry. We're all aliens, basically. But then it's special where they say, well, we sent up this thing into the atmosphere and it measures this, and they took back a DNA cell and they showed a bubble, like an embryo with something in it, and it's a DNA of a life form that they're pollinating the planet with. They've been doing that for billions of years, and look what we got. Hush posh. A bunch of nothing. People that don't care about themselves, never mind the people that they're with. Abduction, drugs, rape, abuse, all those things. Is any of that beneficial to become aware? Of course not. Now, I want to throw this in, not that it relates to UFOs or aliens. Awareness doesn't happen by experiences here. I'll tell you the truth. It doesn't. You could have a billion experiences here. It doesn't teach you about the inner worlds. It doesn't teach you about what you're going to do when you die. It doesn't tell you what you're going to look like or what you'll be, how you're going to vibrate. It doesn't teach you any of that. You need to do that by yourself. You need to learn it. There's nobody teaching it. I can only give you simple techniques to work with. Then you'd have to do the work to get there anyway. And that's all I am doing. I'm not going to be here long, people. When I'm gone, people will just say, just erase that picture. We don't need that one. But I'm going to give you more truth than anybody else that I know on this planet came out with. Nobody's going to tell you how bad hypnosis really is. Nobody's going to tell you how bad all the races are. All right, the dimensions aren't better going into a higher dimension. What's a higher dimension? What's a higher spiritual person mean? Can you levitate a TV, a house? What can you do? Can you raise the dead? Appreciate it. Now, people, look, I've been doing workshops and lectures with TJ Morris for 10, 12 years. I've been doing more by my own, but I was bringing guests on all the time until I realized I don't want to promote a lie. Ever. And I was on a show. I had Laura Eisenhower on. We had 120,000 people listening to the show. You know, she was afraid to say anything against me, period. Well, then I had Michael Horn, the big spokesperson for Billy Myers. He came on, I let him talk about 20 minutes about his ego and who he was and everything. And I said, well, what about your lies? What lies? I said, all the things you're saying. I said, you never even went to be with Billy Myers. Oh, I was with him many times. No, you weren't. Show me one picture. Show me anything. And you're his spokesperson, but he doesn't know how much you're doing for him or not doing for him. Shirley MacLaine went out to see Billy Myers and tried to buy him out as well. They brought Billy Myers to the United States, and they're trying to get him set up with hookers to stay in California. That didn't work either. But people, you want the truth. Sean David Martin is my friend. He always will be. I mean, he just got out of jail. He's dying. He's doing his shows the best he can. I was his bodyguard for many years. I was with him a lot. He got put into a lie that he stole millions of dollars. If he had millions of dollars, he would have made a movie. He never got the millions. The government was always after him, and all kinds of things were always happening to him. Then they put 150 charges against him. Not one person went to court to go against him. And the only problem is he's a sovereign citizen, and in court you can't testify for yourself if you're a sovereign citizen. He wasn't allowed to speak in court. He spent 2 years in jail trying to write the reports, to go to a lawyer and everything else. They blinded him. They did. He had a horrible, probably more so than any other person in prison, because he was too aware of the UFO world. He discovered Area 51, people, and so many people take credit for that. Well, my partner that I do my show tomorrow with is radioactive. She doesn't need treatment. She needs help somehow, and I can't get it. I have a couple of scientists checking into the Geiger counter and everything else. But check it out. She's radioactive. We take out Geiger counters and we show it halfway through the show. But people, when you get abducted, you're exposed to radiation. You know, they go out to anybody in the UFO world goes out to a crop circle or to a UFO landing with a Geiger counter. Check out John Ford. He's in the nut house in Long Island. He's been there since 1996. They're saying he's insane. He had uranium. He had a barrel of uranium and was going to kill Congress or people in Congress. A barrel of uranium. I guess he goes in there with, puts it in a little pocket, goes into somebody's house and puts it in their toothpaste. They said that he was going to put it in their toothpaste. Uranium. Really? He's going to go around with it. Really? And they put him in the nut house. They won't let him go to jail. I saw his video. He shot a video, crystal clear, of a ship that crashed on Long Island. I saw it right before he shipped 4 copies around the world. If he dies, they get released. If he doesn't die, they don't get released. He could have just released them. He would have been better off. And he would have still been alive and out of jail. I mean, he would have been out of jail, not alive. He's still alive, but in jail all that time. People, you got information. Don't try to hide it. The government will find it. Put it out there. You think Trump, I find that amazing. Trump's so smart, but he would bring records that could destroy his personality, character, and everything else and put it in his house? Why would you do something like that? It takes a rocket scientist to do something like that. If I have weapons that if I get caught with, I could be killed or put in jail for the rest of my life, why would I have it in my house? Well, I know if they catch me, they're going to go to your house and search your house first. Well, people in the UFO world, all my friends, I have 16 friends that have all been, different things happen to them. Most of them are gone completely. John Ford's still alive in a nut house. But here's the thing, people. Why is Stephen Greer talking to aliens and eliminating the government? Does that sound like a terrorist attack? I know yeah, it is. But people are following it. He's getting millions of dollars. To do what? To program more people to what? I always said, in 1996, when I was out lecturing around the United States, he was a nobody. I had a friend, I'll say his name because I can't get in touch with him for 2 years. His phone's on. I know Robert Sylvester, who was killed, taking out his whole family. He actually has his phone on for a year. I work for the phone company. I called him up every week. Let him go. Don't kill him. Release him. He didn't do nothing. But he never came back. His whole family was gone. All right. My other friends just disappeared or found dead, whatever, all these different things. Look at when Fred Bell, when Alex Jones, he's in trouble now. He was a spokesperson for a lot of things. They go after the people that put out truth and lies. All right, more so the truth than the lies. But Jesse Ventura, he had a person on, Fred Bell, really cool person. I was friends with him. He was friends with Billy Myers. He was on their ships and everything. He designed reactors and all kinds of stuff, medicines that he was working with the Pleiadians with. All right. I met him. We talked, and he told me things. He said he can't tell nobody else because he Sean is kind of like his nephew, but he goes, I can't tell him either because I don't want anybody with a big mouth putting nothing. I can say whatever I want. He's dead now, and he was killed. He was at the hotel 2 days after he did the show with Jesse Ventura, and he never left the hotel alive. So when people put the truth out, I don't know. I know what the Emerald Tablets say. The truth will be here in the end. It'll wipe out all the lies. But when is the end? All right. What is the actual end when the truth all comes out? When you die. Your truth will come out. All the truth. And whether you understand it or not, if you don't, you'll just come back here and start all over. So isn't it better to find the truth right now? The truth, not stories, not aliens, not butterflies, not anything else. The truth about who and what you are and what's going to happen to that. You only got 125 years here, people. I don't want to go much longer either, but realize when you get older, you start drifting down and losing more abilities to do anything. So if you can't do it now, you might not ever do it. I say the only time is for spiritual awareness is right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Oh, I can't do it for another month. Well, that means you're not going to do it. If you have the truth, if God came down and actually gave you a vision saying, this is what you got to do, would you do it? Moses came off the mountain and had, 2,000 people killed. Was that thou shalt not kill? And then he created 613. Are you following the facts? Do you look for the truth? Revelation tells you what sins can't be forgiven. Christians don't read it. Revelations, people. John wrote it. Read it. Read what the sins can't be forgiven. You can't go on a Friday, forgive me, I have sinned. I'm going to do 10,000 Hail Marys. I'll do 20 trillion, billion, zillion Hail Marys, and you might get a... No, it's not going to happen like that. And it doesn't. Well, guess what? We have I don't know where you are, but in Hawaii, we have on Earth Day. I was on Maui. I was living on Maui. I'm on the Big Island now. But we had these 3 people came out, and they were putting the cars to make them run on water for $500. And it's a simple project. On the mainland, you can't use water. You have to use antifreeze. But here, you can use water. You don't want to come back here. I'm just going to tell you my truth. It only gets better the further you get away from this reality. The higher realms are incredible. Oh, you're in Florida. I like Florida. It's slow. To me, it's slow. I lived in Jersey most of my life. Then I was in California. I was in Oregon. I was in Washington State. But I was on a reservation for a while. Hawaii is not... I'm not going to say anything about Hawaii. I don't want to get killed. So here's the thing, people. There's a lot of things going on everywhere. And it's not going to get better. A lot of the psychics, I'm not going to go into all the names of the psychics that said that even the UFO people said the world's going to end in 2 years, the world's going to this, and not one person was ever right about that. They don't have the power to do it. And unless an angel came down and told the world, if they had the right to know, like Noah, all right? He was gifted by an angel telling him what he had to do. Sodom and Gomorrah, he was gifted by an angel and told what to do. Usually it's one person, but it's to save a family that's going to change reality. Not to save the bad people. Oh, I'm not a bad person. Oh, you're a good person? We let people get slaughtered, abused, and all those words constantly. And we watched Gladiator on a new one on the TV last night. The gladiators, and they show how they were killing all kinds of animals. And are we that pathetic? Strong men and wrestling and boxing more so than anyone. Imagine you can get paid to beat somebody up, but you can't beat somebody up on the street and not get paid for it. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Well, I will say this. The 2 boxers that fought a couple years ago both made $150 million. One of them went back and built a church, a library, all kinds of things with some of that money. You know, when you got that kind of money, guess what you can do? A lot of things. But again, millionaires don't do those things. I'm going to say something that I know Jesus said many times. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. I tell that to every rich person I meet. Gates, Gore, you name them all. And Basil wants to create life to live for 150 years or longer. Really? He loves it here that much? See, they don't know what life is about. They don't know what love is about. And they're happy being here. You know, if you put in a box and told you're in heaven, you'd stay in that box forever. Well, this is heaven. You don't know anything better. Try experiencing something more important than that. Go beyond the illusion that you're programmed and told to stay in. You know, I might do that if you can come into tomorrow. It's going to be 12 p.m. California time, and it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Hawksblood 1. Just put my site, friend me, and you'll get the link as well. But I just want to finish up. I didn't want to go into this too long because I know people get bored, don't like hearing the truth too much. I mean, I named all these people, and I'm not going to name them again today. I mean, I'm waiting for one of them to get nasty and get mean and get back to me. Oh, you said what? I want to debate Eckhart Tolle. But right now, I'm going after Deepak Chopra. It's one word, Hawksblood. Yeah. And what he's saying, and he's talking about get to. If you can't talk about God, you know nothing about the higher worlds, period. If you say the energy, the universal consciousness, you're talking about a physical energy that keeps the solar system going. And there's 9 beings that do that. And nobody wants to know that either. You know, when you talk about live in the moment, no, I'm going to live 10 years from now. I'm going to live 100 years from now. No, you're not. You're living now. You're living in a moment. And you're not going to change into this super being because you say so. You are what you are. And you need to start somewhere. Start realizing what you are as a soul. When Jesus talked about protection, it wasn't this body. His body wasn't protected. And he didn't die for your sins. He could have never died for all the sins that are growing and creating and being and coming and coming and coming. No, he didn't do that. God didn't have to do that. God created hell for a reason, to make soul grow. Satan's here because it's allowed to be here. So Satan controls all the alien races. And they want to talk about who controls us. Well, it's a game. It's like college. The teachers, the students, and then the grades to get there. And you're in kindergarten. Hell is kindergarten, people. Everything. Well, I got a good job. Oh, I invented a peanut butter sandwich. Really? I mean, what do you invent? What are you doing to make mankind better? Well, I created a wireless computer. Okay. What's it doing to the energy? What's it doing to the electric field? And what's happening with that? We're in a danger zone. And where's my Geiger counter? I could put it on my screen. If you tune in tomorrow, you can see the Geiger counter. I'll pull it out. We pull it out and we show you what happens just from your computer screen. I went up to town. I went past the school, and guess what? The radiation was so high. I did a little research. They buried all the bombs there, and that land was useless, so they gave it to the school system. People realize it's only about money, not spirituality, not God, not truth. About making money. Nothing else. And I want to just disclaim something like the Anunnaki came here to make gold, get our gold. Well, think about it. We can make gold right now. It costs more money to make it than what we actually produce when we try to make it. But realize an alien race that made gold 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 years ago. If they needed gold, don't you think they would have just came down and taken it from the kings, the queens, the pharaohs? Oh, I need a bunch of gold. Let's go there. Scoop, take it. They didn't need gold. It's another story. I mean, they did program us when Atlantis was destroyed. Hold on. I'm going to lose my voice. When Atlantis was destroyed, they did program the human race that was left to kill. All right. Atlantis, they weren't killing. We were psychic. We had all these 32 abilities. You didn't even have to talk. You couldn't steal, couldn't rob, couldn't do any of those things. But aliens didn't like that. They couldn't use us. They couldn't control us. So they eliminated most of the races that were there. I said 5 races left. Black, yellow, red, and white stayed. Survived, for a word. But not with brains, not with compassion, not with true love or awareness. Because they were out killing every animal. Man eats any animal, any creature that moves somewhere on this planet. And that's pretty sick. Never mind sexual situation, rape, abuse, and all those other words. They're growing, people. Do you know how bad it is? How much crime every half a minute something really bad's happening in each one of those words? Do you understand what we're creating? Heaven on earth. No, you're not. God's not going to come down to this realm. Why would it? Not that it would burn its body or anything like that, but darkness is here and it's growing. Satan won. As right now. Now, Sergeant Latine, the person I did, claims in 2036, Jesus comes back and kills Lucifer. Well, realize Satanism and a lot of people were not that he's really here and playing with us, because it isn't. It's the highest angel. It's not in the highest realm, but it's still one of the highest angels. And why would he want to come here? He's got a more important role to make sure souls, which there's 4 I call little gods on each realm, but on the astral plane there's 3, because that's the most abused and transporting back and forth the people. But he has to keep an eye on which souls can go past the astral plane. He's just one of the beings that do it. But imagine letting these demons go into the next realm or the higher realms and stuff. The world's created perfectly. The universe is created perfectly. And man with his ego and his power thinks he could do all these things to change it and make it better, but they can't. Because they're working from the wrong end of the stick. Until you touch and become aware of soul, of what you are even, how could you understand God or anything greater than yourself? All right. I didn't want to go much longer today. I'm glad I got this out. I could, if you're listening to this right now, and I lose my YouTube, or I lost Skype. I lost LinkedIn. I almost lost Facebook. But these other people could say horrible things and ridiculous things and get away with it. If you're just trying to decide if somebody's saying the truth or not, how do you decide if you never met an alien, never met a ship, was next to a ship, or anything like that? How can you talk about it? How could you judge whether it's real or not? You can't. Same as a person has a death experience. Unless you have it, you don't know what it means. So, these people that are ignorant because they don't know the truth, I don't know what words you're allowed to say anymore. But when you're unaware of the truth, how do you talk about it? You don't, and you can't. Well, they've been coming in a lot of people's rooms. I was in court against the phone company. They were saying I was hurt and abducted on a UFO. The phone company, all right, Bell Atlantic, New Jersey Bell. I was going to court for 2 years, and then they dismissed the whole case completely. But The judge said, "I want to speak to you after everybody leaves," and he brings me up to the whatever it's called, and says, "I was with my wife in the car. The car stopped. There was this light over us." I mean, you'd be surprised. People don't talk about it. They don't want to be classified crazy. And I just watched a video. A high person that I deal with sent it to me of this person that talked about the men in black, and he was working with them, and they're saying he's crazy, and they want to put him away. You know, today, I mean, right now, I mean, those days should be gone. Why they can't say abduction's real? Because you know how many people would be in the nut house that wouldn't be in the nut house anymore? That could come out and go get treatment? I hope. How do you help somebody that's been abducted? You can't. But think about all that stuff we talked about today. Please, you got questions? Hawksblood1, AOL.com. Text me. I'm on Skype, Hawksblood11. All right. And like I said, if I ever lose my show, email me at hawksblood1, AOL.com. I'll just put it up there so you can see what it looks like. All right. Well, that's another one too. All right. I got one other one I keep really quiet and separate. But people, this is the real world. Whether you want to believe the real things that are happening in it or not, that's your truth, your story. Uh, Remember, your story is only your story. Can it help the world? Can it help other people? I mean, if anybody ever listened to me, they might get some more help, especially learning about who they are as soul. But as long as you're hung up on this program idea that, oh, well, aliens can make it better. Technology has nothing to do with spirituality. Remember that, people. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. I'll keep the chat room open for a couple minutes, but peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, don't stop until you get it. Don't give up. Don't say no. And don't believe everything, because it's mostly lies. Especially now with the UFO world being twisted and molded into what Stephen Greer wants it to be, I'd be a lot more cautious about what I listen to. All right. Goodbye from Hawaii.